Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am sitting here looking at a lot of new makeup. Some of it is not new to the market, it is new to me, and some of it is new to me and the market. And I'm just gonna be playing with it today, making a full face. I really like the eye look that I'm gonna do. I have done that before. It's very fall, coppery, very, very pretty, and I really, really like it. So I wanted to share that with y'all. Also, a lot of this makeup came from DERMSTORE. They reached out to me and asked if I wanted to pick out some makeup from their site. And of course I said yes. DERMSTORE is an online skincare and makeup retailer. They have many brands, a lot of which you can't get easily other places. And they also offered me a discount code to offer to you. So it's 15% off your purchase. There are some brands that are not included. I don't really remember which ones they are, but exclusions do apply. But it is Mandy MUA. I will put that down in the description box. This is not sponsored. I'm just showing you some different makeup items you could get, looks that you can make with them, and also sharing that discount code. And I also have a couple of things from the Sephora VIB sale that I picked up that I'll be using as well. And I am learning that even though I'm 42, I'm still learning things, and it is that I really need to start folding my sweaters and putting them away at the end of the season, because these little hanger marks on all of my sweaters are killing me. I need to like rewash every single sweater because I have like mini shoulder pads. That's what they look like. Anywho, let's get started. My corrector is not new. I'm going through my Fit Glow Beauty Peach Corrector, which, I mean, is no secret as to how much I love this. This is in Peach. It is the one that I carry in my kit as well because it just works on everybody. Take down a little bit of that darkness, but y'all, it is ramped up this time of year. I don't know if something allergy-wise, I'm getting good sleep, but they are just not hiding. They want to be known to the world. Okay, let's go into foundation. I picked this out from DERMSTORE, and I feel like I used it forever ago and really liked it, and I have no idea. Like when I say forever ago, I'm talking like 8 years ago, and I have no idea why I stopped using it. But this is the Perricone MD No Makeup Foundation Serum. So this is a serum, so it's very lightweight. It's part of their no makeup line, which is basically lighter weight, lighter coverage, liquid type products to achieve an even skin tone, but not look like you have a ton of foundation on. And they do have skincare ingredients in them also. I think this is like, has peptides in it and daisy flower extract, if I remember correctly. It has vitamin E in it, and I am in the shade Nude. So you do need to shake it up really well because again, it's very liquidy. Comes in a pipette. I take probably a half a pipette's worth and just dot it on the skin. And I have been liking the IT Cosmetics Complexion Perfection Buki with this. And I just like to stipple it in. I wish that you could sense the heaviness of a product over a screen or a camera, because this is one of the lightest weight products that I've used on my skin, as it should be with the name like serum. So this is just skincare and SPF. I have the ISDIN SPF on today, which, as you can see, just evens out my skin tone, but does not provide a ton of coverage because you can still see some of my redness. This one did cover up the redness and then gave a little bit of warmth to the skin. It doesn't take much at all to provide a good light to buildable medium, light medium coverage. You're not going to get more than that in my opinion. But if you're purchasing something that says no makeup, you're probably not looking for full coverage. So I have been wearing this probably like 5 out of the past 8 or 9 days, and I really, really like it. Concealer, also from DERMSTORE, and this is one that I absolutely know I love. And getting it again after I haven't used it in forever has reminded me how much I loved it. And it's the Jouer High Coverage Liquid Concealer. This has been in my top 5 concealers before in the past when I was actively using it. And as it goes, I run out, I start using something else, I fall in love with something else, I kind of forget about my old loves. And this is definitely an old love. This is in the shade Toast, which is the same shade I used to use. And I just put 3 little dots under each eye. This is pretty high coverage, and for such a high coverage concealer, it is actually very hydrating in my opinion, and it wears beautifully. BK Beauty sent me over all of their new core line extension brushes. So I'm gonna use a few of those today. And the first one I'm gonna use is the BK Beauty 109 brush, which is very similar to, I don't have it, but the Sephora foundation brush that I like to use for my concealer. It's a mini version of their original foundation brush. So I'm gonna use that to blend out this concealer and just tap it under the eyes. You'll be able to see how much, I'm going to take it into this corner, how much coverage that provides. Those 3 small dots, it blends out beautifully. It's not like, I mean, I could have let those 3 dots sit there for quite a long time before blending it out because it doesn't dry down so fast that it's not blendable, which to me just speaks to the hydration of it too. Good brush for this. Also, if you wanted to use it for foundation, you could, but to me, this is just perfect for blending out concealer, and I have for the past 6 to 8 months been using a brush for that, and this is great. So I'm gonna let those liquid products sink in, and I'm gonna go to the eyes. This is a brand that I had never tried before, but I have been interested in it for a very long time, and it is Rowan. And so DERMSTORE carries Rowan. Again, another one where I feel like it's not available everywhere you look. They have a lot of eye quads, and I picked out Eyes on Me, which is this beautiful coppery gold palette. It has 2 creams and then a powder and then a kind of topper, which the topper is actually very opaque. So it's really more of a shadow, but those are the swatches right there. Beautiful, beautiful palette for blue eyes. If you have blue eyes, this is the color story that is just going to make them pop. So I'm going to start out with that gold cream color, and I'm just going to place it on my finger, and I'm going to take it in this kind of inner portion of the eye. It's so pretty and a lot more pigmented on the eye than I thought it was going to be. When I first used this, I was pleasantly surprised how well it showed up. I'm going to take this BK Beauty 209 brush. So this is a very small, little bit more compact shader brush, and I'm going to pick up the copper cream shade, and I'm going to apply that out on this outer corner and kind of blend it into the gold. And then I'm going to take the 211, which is a much thinner version of a crease brush, especially like their 201. If you put that up together, you'll see it's more pinched at the ferrule. So it's going to be more concentrated placement. And I'm going to take just a little bit of this actual matte powder shadow down here and put it on the very, very, very outer corner, like just a touch. I don't want to cover up that copper cream color that I put. But because I'm likely going to use this under the eye, I find that, putting a little bit on the outer corner and attaching it to the under eye shadow is going to make for a much more cohesive look. And then I'm going to take the 212, which this right here is the 211 that I just used, and this is the 212. So they are basically a very similar brush in shape, but the size is different. So 212 is just a little bit of an amped up version of the one I just used, 211. I'm actually going to go into the bronzer that I'm going to use later, which is the Jouer Bronzer Duo. This is in the medium to deep, and I am going to take the lighter color and use that to just put a little bit of contour in the crease. So the Rowan palette could easily be a one and done palette. If you want to just do a wash of these creams, you could put them all the way up into the crease. But taking a bronzer, especially the one you're using on your face, is going to make everything come together, and it will give a little bit more contour to the eye. I'm going to use the new Givenchy, or new to me, Givenchy Prisme Libre powder in Voile Rosé. So it is the pink kind. Put a little bit out in the top, or a lot out in the top. And I almost always use my BK Beauty 201 to go and buff out any creases that may have occurred in the concealer, which are very minimal with this Jouer concealer. And I'm going to use the new 113 brush from BK Beauty. It's kind of like a little bit of a fluffier paddle brush. Pick up some of that powder and then just press it into the under eye. Still forming an opinion on this powder, but this will be the third day and third different concealer that I have used it with. For powder, I'm using my Aeropress. I just can't get away from it. I love it so much. And my La Mer powder brush. I have used a couple of different powders with this foundation serum, and they all work great. I don't find that one works better than the other or that the serum doesn't set well with one. It seems to be pretty universally liked by whatever powder I use on top of it. You saw the bronzer that we're going to use from Jouer. I've had this one for years. I have been using, this is, and you can see by how dirty it is, this is the BK Beauty 107 travel brush. So it is their just shorter handle version of the 107. And they came out with a new one, the 111. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see. It is also a little bit more pinched at the ferrule and not as fluffy. But I'm going to use this for bronzer anyways, because I would like to use as many of these new ones as possible. And again, I have been loving this one for bronzer. So I have no doubt this is going to work. I'm going to go into the lighter bronzer shade. And this Jouer bronzer is not a flat matte. It has a little bit of a sheen to it, but it's not a shimmer. Like I'm not looking in the pan and seeing pieces of shine that's going to translate to the face. It, to me, gives a very skin-like finish for a bronzer. In the summer, I can mix the two. The lightest is the one that works the best for me. I have not used the light to medium one. I honestly should probably look into it for my more fair clients. When I get to my cheeks, I kind of put the bronzer more on the side and then just kind of pat it in. And like I imagine, this brush is working beautifully, just as good as the 107 that I've been using. Now, for highlight and blush, I got this palette that I don't know what took me so long to get it because it's so beautiful. And it's from By Terry, and it's their Brightening CC palette. And this is in number 2, Beach Balm. So it comes with, depending on your skin tone, it will either come with a bronzer, a highlight, and 2 blushes, or it will come with a highlight and 3 blushes, or it will come with a powder and 3 blushes. It just depends. Now this shade up here, I'm going to swatch all of them for you. You can see the 2 blushes, the more bronze color, and then this shade right here. And when I first swatched this shade, that first one, I was like, I don't even know how I'm going to use that. Maybe I could set my concealer with it, but maybe it's going to be a little too dark. I'm not sure. And I ended up trying it as a highlight, and it's one of the most natural because it doesn't have a sheen, like a shine to it, right? It's not a metallic finish by any means, but it just gives this little bit, I'm going to use that same 113 brush I used under my eyes, this little bit of reflection. Do you see that? Just that little bit right there. So if you're someone that doesn't like a highlight or doesn't feel comfortable with one, I mean, it's so natural and so pretty and does not, because it doesn't have any discernible sheen to it in the formula. It's great for someone who doesn't wear highlight because they have texture on the skin that they don't want accentuated. I just don't foresee this happening in that way. I don't foresee it accentuating anything, fine lines and wrinkles that you may not want accentuated because of the formula. Very, very pretty. Now for blush, I'm going to use this little corally peachy color, my favorite. I've used both. I've used this one and the pink. The pink is like a cool tone, Bobbi Brown, like pale pink type, looks good on everybody, really is just the perfect pink blush color type of pink. I'm going to use that same 111 brush just on the other side, and I'm just going to take that and sweep it up the cheek. I like to do highlight first. I get asked this quite a bit. I like to do highlight first because once you apply that blush over it, it's going to naturally cover some of that highlight, which is going to tone it down just a little bit, but also give the illusion that you have like this lit from within glow. literally, because it's lit from underneath the blush. Isn't that such a pretty color? I have not tried these on the eyes yet, but I can imagine they would make a beautiful eyeshadow look. So if you're someone who A, loves the By Terry powder formula, B, loves a face palette for travel or easy reach, not having to grab a ton of products, someone who just likes these colors and hasn't tried By Terry products yet, really, really, really pretty. Love it. Even though I feel like these powder products blended out so beautifully, I'm still gonna go in and buff with my Hourglass Radiant Light and my IT Cosmetics Duo Fiber Brush just to get rid of some of any harsh lines if they're there, even though I feel like they really aren't. I'm sticking to my cheeks and my chin. I'm not doing my forehead. It's just a necessary step for me. I'm gonna go back into the Rowan and I'm gonna pick up the BK Beauty 210, which is basically a domed pencil brush. So it's gonna be good for any kind of detail work you want on the upper lid, but also for smoking out that lower lash line. And I'm gonna take that matte shade that, again, remember I put just a little bit out on this outer corner so that I can connect that and bring it underneath the lash line and have it, I just feel like, be a more rounded out look. While I did my mascara off camera, I did use a new one, and it's the Tower 28 mascara that I talked about in my Sephora haul. This time I used a primer with it. So when I filmed that haul, I did not have a primer with it. This time I used my L'Oreal Voluminous Primer. Still forming a consensus on this. A lot of the comments so far on that haul video are saying that they were a little underwhelmed for something that was so overly hyped up. I do think it looks much better with a primer. I feel like that adds some volume versus without the primer, it was more of just length. All right, let's finish up with lips, and then I'm going to tell you what my scent of the day is. Lips, y'all. This is like a pinky gloss, and I understand that I have more warm tones on my face, but I quite honestly just don't care. I just don't. I don't care if they match or not. This is the Ilia, what is this called? Balmy Gloss Tinted Lip Oil, and this is in the shade Only You, which, as stated, is pinky. And this is also from DERMSTORE, and I just wanted to use it. This is my kind of product because A, it's more of a gloss. It's a tinted lip oil. And if you don't follow me normally, you may not know, I just don't wear lipstick typically by itself. I always put some kind of gloss on top. This has a little bit of a color to it, and it's pinky nude, which also, if you don't follow me, you may not know that is my absolute favorite. So even though it's more pink and then there's warm tones on the eyes, I mean, I feel like it works out. I like it anyways. Let's talk about this scent of the day. Let's talk about it. This is only a decant. Okay, it's a 5 ml decant. I'm halfway done with it, and I've had it for about a week. I can't stop using it. I will be getting the full bottle. This is the newest, or one of the newest scents from the house of Nichane. And this is called Taro. This is a warm, spicy, patchouli, cinnamon, hint of sweetness, gorgeous scent. I love this so much, especially for this time of year. And what makes this special to me and sets it apart is that it is a little bit of a sweet and salty, which is like my favorite kind of not only scent, but also dessert. Like, give me a chocolate covered pretzel any day. Give me a French fry dipped in ice cream any day. That's like my kind of dessert. And this has notes of salt and caramel on the top. So you've got that sweet and salty, but then it also has patchouli. It does have cinnamon. So that's where the spice comes in. It also has pepper on the top. So you're going to have a little bit of a kick to it, which is definitely there. It does not necessarily last throughout the whole wear, but I think that pepper mixed with the cinnamon is where the true warm spiciness comes in. And then you've got amber and oak and vetiver on the base, which does dry down to like a more ambery fragrance. I don't get woodiness so much out of this as I do a sweet and salty patchouli with a hint of spice. And I've already sprayed it all over me, but let's just spray some more. Oh my goodness, it's so good. Highly recommend it if any of those notes sound appealing to you, or if any of that description sounds appealing to you. It will not be long before this decant is out, and I'm holding out for some Black Friday sales before I get the full size. So that is it. That is the final look playing with some new makeup. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Don't forget about my discount code with DERMSTORE. I will put down below. I will also have everything listed and linked for you as always. Be sure and like and subscribe before you leave so you don't miss out on any future videos. And I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day.